Hello, we're in Springfield, Massachusetts today, and we're going to have a neighborhood tour of the Forest Park Heights. This neighborhood came around mostly in the 1890s. When Forest Park, thought of it came around the 1890s, there was more homes being built, and it became easier to get into these neighborhoods due to the trolley of Springfield, and so people were able to live further away from their homes than usual. So they built up these still in the city neighborhoods. And there's going to be several of them you're going to see, and they're all different architectural styles, usually around the Victorian style. Alright, so we'll talk about some of those. But there's some on your immediate right here. This one happens to be from 1901. Right, it's a nice style. And then right beyond it is a very heavy porch line and a style. And then let's go around this little triangle, I guess. Okay, we're right along the Park Memorial Baptist Church on Forest Park Avenue and Garfield Street. And we're on now Forest Park Avenue. And some very beautiful Victorian homes. On the side here, there's a shingle variety with heavy use of the shingles itself. And then on the left-hand side in bright yellow, there's probably a Greek revival, we would call that. Heavy, the corners are heavy columns, and they're probably good supports. And then beyond that, there's a green one that you would call a shingle style. Look in the gables, whether it's front porch or side gables, they're all with heavy red colored shingles. And then on the right hand side in yellow, very heavy dentils, and the upper gable have a beautiful pattern to it. Okay, so you start to see that there's a center greenway on the street here, and on the right hand side is a colonial revival style home with a nice upper second floor porch. Alright, and then more Victorian homes. This street happens to be called Maplewood Terrace. And then there's a house right here that has managed to keep its porch, several of these have managed to keep their porches intact, which is a wonderful sign. Usually on a Victorian home, they'd be boxed in and they start to look ugly, but this one has kept them this way. In fact, 3 houses in a row, they kept them this way. Right, and then we're looking at a neo-Tudor Victorian home to our immediate right, and all the windows have kept their nice fenestration. And then beyond it, on Randolph Street, is a stucco facade of a beautiful home. Right, it's 2.5 stories high, and it seems to be nicely kept. I wonder if the sills used to have a different color. I bet you they did at one point. the street. Again, they still have the greenway. Across the street is a very, very big house in the Victorian style. Okay, and you see a very gorgeous craftsman style home here. It has the year on it, 1912. Craftsmans were very popular around that time. And it has a very nice look to it. Across the street in gray is a stucco facade. It looks like another craftsman's house. It might be called a mission style. It's very unique, and that's a good sign to see. Most homes start to look like one another, even when they're beautiful. That one looks very unique. Okay, here's the side of another stucco home. Okay. Okay, well, now we got another greenway on this street here. And most of the streets in Forest Park Heights will have these greenways. And you got more gorgeous houses on both sides. And we're passing a neo-Tudor home in a Victorian neo-Tudor style. Very beautiful. The first floor is in masonry, and the second floor is all in neo-Tudor style. And on the left-hand side, you have a couple of homes, seem to be in the missionary style. One might actually be a craftsman, and the other one's probably not. It's probably from scratch. Okay, we're seeing here on Randolph Street, neo-Tudor home, and the ground floor is brown shingle, but the upper floors definitely are using neo-Tudor elements. Okay, and here's a very unique looking house, number 70 Randolph. It's stuccoed face. Okay, and then another beautiful home on the left-hand side. They use on the second floor a copper tower, and then above that they use a shingle style. So it's a shingle Victorian home. All right, and then there's a neo-colonial on the left-hand side. A beautiful building on the left-hand side. Again, another neo-colonial style. Okay, here in this neighborhood, we get to see some more beautiful Victorian homes on both sides, and They make heavy use of heavy columns on the porches, which is very unusual. Okay, in the distance, on the right-hand side, you can see a very heavy porch column, and it wraps around. Very unique style. Look at the top floor. The 2.5 floor structure. The top floor has a jutting out gable, and that's very unique. And what we're going to do here is take a left from this point, but on the left-hand side at the corner of that street, we're going to turn right towards it. It's a craftsman style home. You can see it's almost square and has a curved roof line, and then beyond it is a neo-Tudor look to that home. Some modified structures, modified bungalows, colonials. And they make incredibly heavy use of columns on the left-hand side. You hardly ever see columns that heavy on old 1910 homes. And that's a gorgeous look to it on the second one on the left. And then upwards, on both sides of the street you have very large homes, stucco face. The one on the left-hand side is extremely large, and it makes great use of the different color blues and violets. Okay, and so right in front of us on the right, another neo-Tudor home. And then on the left, looks like another craftsman home on the sharp right, number 17, and then another neo-Tudor home on the left-hand side. You can see how gorgeous that is, and he has a carriage house in back, and then a stucco house on your right-hand side. This is a beautiful line of 4 homes there. Okay, and on this street you're finding much simpler looking Victorian homes for the most part, until you get to the very end, and here you find stick style Victorian with a very heavy porch line and nice choices of color. And then on the next house through, another very heavy porch stucco. So a lot of this neighborhood has a very heavy porches, which is very, very unique. You don't often find that. And then across the street is a neo-Tudor home.
Okay.
Okay, we're back onto Forest Park Avenue, and we're looking at a neo-Tudor home on the right-hand side. Again, with very heavy porch columns. And then on the left-hand side, you see a lot of gorgeous homes in a row, making use of stucco on 2 of them, very large. And then in the distance, a couple more, one Victorian and a stucco Victorian. Colonial. Okay, we're coming back to the Park Memorial Baptist Church. Pretty close to where we started off. So here we're going to end our trip through the Forest Park Heights neighborhood of Springfield, Massachusetts. Thank you.